On Wall Street, the Dow down by 890 points. More at townhall.com.
Hey, it's big! Rob Schmidt recently beat CNN in key ratings, as millions are tuning into Newsmax. Every night, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax, revealing the truth about Elon Musk's Doge. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern and find out why Rob is the hottest person in cable news. Even President Trump is watching, and he says Newsmax is terrific. Reuters Institute reports that Newsmax is now one of the top news brands in America. Find out why. Just check out Newsmax on your cable system. Get Rob Schmidt with Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and much more. Download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone or home TV to start watching. It takes just seconds. With Newsmax Plus, you can watch our great shows anytime. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com and start your free trial. That's NewsmaxPlus.com. Make the switch to Newsmax today.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
The U.S. stock market sell-off got worse. The S&P 500 fell 2.7% as worries build about how much the economy will endure through tariffs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 2.1%. The NASDAQ Composite sank 4%. Elon Musk's Tesla fell to one of the market's sharpest losses, as did airlines and other companies that need U.S. shoppers feeling confident enough to spend. Bitcoin fell below $79,000 from more than $100,000 in December. The Dow was down 890 points to finish at 41,911. The NASDAQ lost 727 to 17,468. The S&P 500 dropped 155 to 5614. With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. The skies do clear out overnight. We'll have a chilly low temperature of 38. Tomorrow, what a difference a day makes, right? Sunshine returning, the high of 74. And this continues Wednesday. Gorgeous, sunshine-filled skies, a high all the way up to 80. We are warm the rest of the week. Rain likely for the weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All righty, welcome in Sports Talk. It's a manic Monday here on Sports Talk. What a crazy weather day. That's cold as, I don't know. I was going to say something that would get me in trouble. It's really cold out there this afternoon, cold and rainy, but it's clearing out, and the weather's going to improve. Maybe our last little taste of winter, now that we've changed the clock. Are you out of whack today because of the clock change, because of the time change on Saturday night, Sunday morning? I'm still trying to catch up to that. In fact, we've got a clock here in our studio, Mr. Producer, that we have to get up to speed. Good to have you with us. Hope you had a great weekend. We're off and running. Today was an extremely busy day. A lot of news notes to share with you. Many things to talk about. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. It is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number through which you can reach us here on Sports Talk. You can also drop us a text message on our text line. Our Sports Talk text line number is 803-900-4847. If you're watching us on our streams on YouTube, hopefully you are subscribing to our YouTube channel or our Facebook or on our X, SC Sports Now. You can also shoot us a message that way we respond to as many messages as we can get to. Big weekend at Clemson from a recruiting standpoint. In fact, it continued today. The Tigers picked up another commitment from a player who visited over the weekend. He is a cornerback out of Texas, Markel Gibson. We'll go through everything that Clemson did recruiting-wise over the weekend. They had a heck of a weekend from the standpoint of gaining commitments. Looks like they're good players. In fact, several of them, if you follow the national recruiting sites and you read their projections, several of them were not leaning towards Clemson, according to these websites, before they picked the Tigers after visiting on Saturday and some on Friday. So you got to give Dabo Swinney and the staff their credit for sort of turning some heads with what they did at their elite retreat on Saturday. So big weekend there for Clemson. Clemson basketball, of course, another big win for the Tigers over Virginia Tech. They get ready now for the ACC tournament. Matt Smith will be covering that for us this week up in Charlotte. They'll be going in as a number 3 seed, which takes us to our poll question of the week, which is on our X page and on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, on our X page at SC Sports Now. And that question is, how do you think Clemson will do in the ACC tournament? Will they win it all? Will they lose in the semifinals? Will they lose in the quarterfinal round? I mean, you're looking at the bracket, and if things hold to chalk with the bracket, it should be Clemson and SMU, then Clemson and Louisville, and then Clemson against Louisville. And then Clemson, if they advance, of course, would play most likely Duke on the other side. So a team they beat in the regular season. We'll dive into all of that tonight in the Southern Conference Championship game. We're guaranteed, well, we know Clemson's going to the NCAA tournament. Right now they're still being listed by the experts as a number 5 seed, but either Wofford or Furman will advance to the NCAA tournament tonight because they play each other in the Southern Conference Tournament Championship game in Asheville. These two teams split their regular season games, each winning on the other's court. But Furman, very impressive in beating UT Chattanooga yesterday. Wofford knocked off VMI in the semifinals. So we got that going on tonight. We've got the College of Charleston in the CAA tournament up in D.C. tonight. They're playing UNC Wilmington. We got the MEAC tournament getting underway, and South Carolina State is the number 2 seed there after tying for the regular season championship. So it's still got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, the South Carolina women won the SEC tournament championship again. Matt Smith will join us at the bottom of the hour to talk about his days in Greenville covering the USC women. And, of course, they're going to be one of the top seeds for the NCAA tournament coming up. And, Raekwon O'Neal. Remember that name, Raekwon O'Neal, who's a Conway native. Played his college football at Rutgers, then he transferred to UCLA. He's in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He also spent some time with the Seattle Seahawks. And he's going to join us a little bit after 7 o'clock. He has got a golf tournament coming up in the Conway area, and we're going to talk about that. It's a fundraising event. So we love when the athletes give back to the community. That is what he's doing. We'll talk a little football with him. NFL free agency opening up today. And, man, they are spending money left and right. Couple of players from the state striking it big. In particular, J.C. Horn is now the highest paid corner in the history, highest paid defensive back in the history of the NFL with what the Panthers are giving him. And Grady Jarrett, who was let go by the Falcons, he was quickly picked up by the Chicago Bears. So we'll touch on all of that. So we have got a huge show for you tonight. And with all that being said, back from the trails of the college basketball world, he's been traveling all over the place for the last couple of months with Coastal Carolina as their outstanding play-by-play man. Season ended for the Chanticleers very quickly in the Sun Belt tournament. but we gave Bergie some time off to recharge. Chris Bergen with us from the Bergie Palace. Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir. It's good to be back, and I appreciate the couple of days off to sort of recharge the batteries a little bit. Yeah, it's funny. Coastal lost in the first round of the Sun Belt Tournament back on Tuesday. They will finally crown a champion in the Sun Belt Tournament tonight.
Who's it down to?
It's Arkansas State and Troy, the 2 seed and the 3 seed. Have advanced. No, check that. The 3 seed and the 4 seed. But it's interesting, those aren't upsets because the Sun Belt had a 4-way tie for first. South Alabama won all the tiebreakers. They were the top seed. Arkansas State was the 4 seed. And then you had James Madison and Troy, the 2 and 3. And both the lower seeded teams, just by virtue of the tiebreakers, ended up winning. So, and Arkansas State has an opportunity to take both of their teams as their women upset James Madison a little bit earlier today for their first ever trip to the NCAA tournament. So, lots happening down in Pensacola. But yeah, we got back here Wednesday and they were just getting started, just getting rolling. As a matter of fact, the 2 teams that are playing tonight in the championship game probably didn't even get to Pensacola until about Thursday afternoon. So we were already home, unpacked, and done with the season before those guys even showed up to get ready to play in the semifinals and the quarterfinals.
Well, it's good to have you back. We missed you. Of
Well, I
course, the
appreciate
show's
that. Thank
always
you.
better when you are on it. It's better when Smitty is on it as well. He'll be with us at 6:35. We'll hear a little bit from Dawn Staley as well. I'll be
How good were they?
Oh, yeah. They were outstanding,
All right.
of course. I mean, they just rolled through their 3 opponents, 2 of which, of course, were top 10 teams. They'd already beaten Oklahoma by 40. Of course, we know the history with Texas, but to go out and beat Texas and handle them and to hold them to the low number they did yesterday, that was highly impressive.
Yeah, and I thought the job that Bree Hall did on Madison Booker yesterday, and Smitty will, I'm sure, speak to this, she was terrific defensively. And the Gamecocks throughout that tournament, they were just so good on the defensive end. Once they got rolling offensively, with aside from the little lapse in the third quarter and early moments of the fourth quarter against Vanderbilt, got a little tight and scary for them. But other than that, they were terrific. And we may look back on this season when it's all said and done, and that UConn blowout beatdown at home may have been the best thing to happen to them, because they are a different team since that game. And if I'm Connecticut, I don't want to see South Carolina in the tournament.
No.
Somebody's got to get them before we have to see them, because I don't think you're going to have a repeat of what we saw in Columbia a few weeks ago if those 2 teams meet in the tournament.
Well, I think what you're seeing, too, are some players really step up and play their best basketball of their careers.
Agreed.
Right now. Chloe Kitts has just been she's been outstanding the last month. I mean, she just really has taken it to another level. And Full Wiley, I think, coming off the bench, is playing at a next level right now, just across the board. And considering they're doing this without maybe their best all-around player in Watkins, pretty impressive what they have done. So Smitty will join us here in a little bit to give us his view on what he saw in Greenville. Just a day full of big stories, and one just breaking nationally. And my season is over. My baseball season officially ended about 10 minutes ago.
Can we play taps? Josh, you got taps in there so for the Yankees? Can we go ahead and start
Well, it's not just Garrett Cole. I mean, they've already had a number of injuries to key players that's going to sideline them. But the word just came down on Garrett Cole, Tommy John. Tommy John surgery tomorrow, torn right ulnar collateral ligament, going to miss the entire season.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That is just that's just bad for it's terrible for the
It's
Yankees,
bad for
but it's
baseball.
bad for
Yeah.
baseball too. I
No,
mean, you
I
hate
agree.
to see that. And Giancarlo Stanton could be out for the entire season. He's got tendonitis in both elbows. If he requires surgery, that could knock him out for the entire season. Though right now he's trying to hold off on going the surgical route. So that's just 2 huge blows for the against the Yankees. But you always find a way when you're a Yankees or the Dodgers or the Braves. You make a trade. You find somebody off the waiver wire, whatever the case may be. Now, you're not going to replace a Garrett Cole. Don't get me wrong. I understand his importance, but
not right now anyway.
you got to.
You're probably going to have to wait until July, when you start seeing teams that are sellers. And if the Yankees are somehow still in the race, that's when maybe they're able to bolster their starting rotation and bullpen. But, yeah, right now they're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. So tough loss for the Yankees, tough blow to the to the Yankee rotation with that news today. Let's see here. Let me hit a couple of other top stories, then we'll get to your phone calls after the break. The phone number, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery, lucky number for you. But just a day full of some major news. ACC, just a little while ago, announced their postseason honors. Clemson guard Chase Hunter was named the first team of the All-ACC team, announced this afternoon.
He should have been.
That's 3 straight years the Tigers have had a first-teamer. Ian Shefflin was named to the second team. Jaden Zachary was named to the all-defensive team. Pat Kelsey was named the coach of the year. And I guess really –
as he should have been.
Yeah. I would have given some thought to Brad Brownell simply because they won 18 ACC games. That's a school record. They've won 26 regular season games. That's a school record. They're ranked 10th this week in the AP. But considering where Louisville was, and to come in and then get them to second place, and they did beat Clemson head-to-head, it's hard to argue against Pat Kelsey.
Well, and Pat Kelsey didn't take a team that went to the Elite Eight last year and turned them back into a number 2, number 3 seed in the ACC. You're right. He took one of the dregs, not historically, but last year. I mean, he took a program that was down about as bad as Louisville basketball has ever been and resurrected them. I think he's done a terrific job. I've got no problems with him being the ACC Coach of the Year. Probably won't be national. Probably won't be national Coach of the Year, but the job he did with Louisville this year cannot be overlooked.
South Carolina's Colin Murray Boyles was named second team All-SEC by the league's coaches, and Gamecock forward Benjamin Bosmans-Verdonk was named the Scholar Athlete of the Year. First time USC wins that award. Coach of the Year was Bruce Pearl from Auburn, and the other individuals would be as follows. As soon as my laptop decides to show me. My laptop is being very ornery. Player of the Year is Johnny Broom from Auburn. Newcomer of the Year, Chaz Lanier from Tennessee. Freshman of the Year is Trey Johnson of Texas. Sixth man is Caleb Grill from Missouri. Defensive Player of the Year is Akai Ziegler from Tennessee. One thing about Gamecock
Todd Golden
basketball,
not the SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
the job he did with Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't everybody anticipate that? I mean, this is a lazy vote. All right, we'll just give it to the team that was number 1. There's no doubt Auburn is outstanding. Bruce Pearl did a terrific job. But I think Coach of the Year should go into a situation, and maybe it's that old argument, what's more difficult, to maintain and keep a really good team really good, or take a team that wasn't quite as good, like Pat Kelsey did, and turn it into a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. I really am surprised that Pearl was named SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I can understand that. I wanted to say this about Gamecock basketball. Of course, they took a loss to end the season at Tennessee. Second half got them, of course, on Saturday. Murray Boyles, just hard to understand. He was on such a heater for them, had been playing so great, and he gets 7 shots against Tennessee. And he's held to, 7 points, I think? 7 points and small number of rebounds. He just has these games where he's just not a factor. And for a guy of his stature who's got to be a factor, he can't not be a factor in any game for this South Carolina team. And they may only have 1 game left to play, obviously, right, on Wednesday. But we'll be talking to Lamont Paris tomorrow, and we'll ask, what happens in those situations where he just disappears offensively? He doesn't get shots. He doesn't score points. He's just not a factor. A guy like that's got to be a factor. Mm-hmm. You got to figure out a way to make him a factor, or he's got to figure out a way to make himself a factor. You wonder if this is the end of the road for him at South Carolina. Does he go on and chase the NBA dollars, or do they make him a very strong NIL offer to come back for another year? Do you think he's ready, or could he use another year of college ball?
Well, that's a great question. And also the bigger concern you have, if he doesn't go NBA, does he transfer somewhere else, or you think he's got an opportunity to win? I mean, Lamont Paris is going to have to show him in particular, I think, in very, very quick fashion after the season is done. Hey, we are building this program back to where it was, last season. You're going to have a chance to win here at South Carolina, plus we'll compensate you as well. But yeah, you're right. I don't know. Had you asked me that question last week, the way he was playing a couple of that little stretch in which they were starting to win some basketball games, yeah, he was ready for the NBA. He's still, I think, NBA talent. Sometimes it just disappears, and here's a guy who is one of their better passers too. If you can't get him involved scoring points for you, at least get him in the basketball because he finds a way to get everybody else involved. But yeah, I think there are several different routes for him, and I'm just not sure which one is going to be most valuable for him.
Yeah, 7 points on 7 shots, only 2 free throws. So he wasn't aggressive going to the hole. See, he took 3 3-pointers, and this is why I question why. Mm-hmm. He was 0 for 3 from 3. Why is he shooting 3-pointers? In a game that was there, it was a tied game at halftime. I mean, you're playing Tennessee on the road. That game's there for you to win. Now, he only played 25 minutes. He only had a couple of fouls. It wasn't like he was in foul trouble. He only played 25 minutes. I don't know. We'll find out more. He only had 1 assist.
Yeah, that's surprising.
So Jamari Thomas gave him 20 points and 4 assists, and Nick Pringle had a nice game, 16 and 14. That's more than a nice game, Corn. He had a great game, 16 and 14, and a couple of assists. Pringle, depending on if he tries to get the waiver for his junior college year and get that back, he would have another year of eligibility if he decides to go that route. These are things that the coaching staff, they will have to figure out here pretty soon as they start to look at the portal and decide about their roster for next year. One more quick note. I mentioned J.C. Horn, cornerback. He is the highest paid I was right, highest paid defensive back in NFL history. The Panthers signed him to an extension. He gets a 4-year, $100 million deal. That's $25 million per year. This is the thing that got me. $70 million is guaranteed.
Good for his agent.
I mean, seriously, $70 million. What is it? I mean, I know he had a good year last year. He's been hurt a great bit. What is it that he's done to earn $100 million? I don't know.
That's a great question. I mean, what were some of the top flight, like Deion Sanders? What would they command now?
Oh, my goodness. Got to hit the break. Be right back.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine it. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and your budget, featuring no payments for up to 90 days. Simply apply early for a pre-approved spending limit before you even start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that is competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today, in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
Our poll question of the week brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia. Call Larry, talk to the staff. 803-799-1998. They'll take great care of you. Clemson, number 3 seed in the ACC tournament. Coming up in Charlotte, Tigers have never won the tournament. They've played for the title twice. How will they do this week? Among the votes in so far, about 67% believe they'll lose in the title game. 8.3% they'll win it all. Another 8.3% say they'll lose in the semis. 16.7% believe they'll lose their first game on Thursday in the quarters. There you go. You can vote.
That would be disappointing.
Yeah, you can vote on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, on our X at SC Sports. Now, that would be disappointing.
Yeah. The season they've had and then to flutter out in the first round, that would concern you going into the NCAA tournament, too. You want to continue this momentum. And as well as they've played, I don't see them losing in the first round. The matchup against Louisville, assuming that's who they're going to see in the semis, could be really fascinating between those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that first game, Javon Hadley had 32 points against the Tigers. This is not rocket science, but they can't allow that to happen again if they see Louisville, or they're going to lose to them again.
Absolutely. Let's go to Tiger Bryant up first tonight, TB time, before we hit the bottom of the hour break. Welcome in, Tiger Bryant. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm telling you, this Tiger Bryant told me, call in tonight because we're going to our anniversary down there at Georgetown tomorrow.
Oh.
So I'll be off. I'm gonna be out of the grid till Friday. Yeah.
Not only off the grid, but out of commission.
Well, no, I'm gonna still listen to y'all now.
All I got to say, hey, you're going on to a special place for your a second honeymoon. My advice to you for a guy your age, just pace yourself, Tiger Bryant. Pace yourself. It's a long week.
Hey, Cohen, I've been with it. It'll be 42 years. We've been married 38. Happy wife, happy life.
That's a great way to live it. Happy wife, happy life.
I'll see y'all. I'll talk to y'all Friday night.
Okay. And off he goes. Off he goes like he's going on a cruise somewhere. Well, you have a good time, Tiger Bryant, and say hello to Mrs. Tiger Bryant for us as well. All right, we'll continue. More calls. Matt Smith is coming up. We'll talk about the SEC Women's Tournament.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. The skies do clear out overnight. We'll have a chilly low temperature of 38. Tomorrow, a difference a day makes, right? Sunshine returning, the high of 74. And this continues Wednesday. Gorgeous, sunshine-filled skies, a high all the way up to 80. We are warm the rest of the week. Rain likely for the weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Are you ready to have a boatload of fun this spring? Sail on down to your local Palmetto State Armory store and deck yourself out in our new lifestyle t-shirts, hats, and fishing shirts. Seize the day with brands like Hey Dudes, Costa, Turtle Box, Local Boy, and more. Our selection of rifles, pistols, and shotguns is sure to impress. So don't be left fishing for something to wear once the warmer weather has arrived. Check out one of our 9 retail locations or PalmettoStateArmory.com to outfit your next adventure.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting long-threatened tariffs from President Trump have plunged the country into a trade war abroad, all while on-again, off-again new levies continue to escalate uncertainty. Since taking office less than 2 months ago, Trump has rolled out hefty import taxes on goods coming from America's 3 biggest trading partners, Mexico, Canada, and China, and promises that more targets are on the horizon. Ontario's premier, the leader of Canada's most populous province, is now charging 25% more for electricity shipped to 1.5 million American homes and businesses in response to President Trump's tariff plan. Ontario provides electricity to Minnesota, New York, and Michigan. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says Ontario's tariff would remain in place. More details at srnnews.com.
Step into a brighter future with Broker Solar. Transform your home, your business, your nonprofit into a beacon of efficiency and savings. With Broker Solar, you're not just installing solar panels, you're setting the foundation for long-term financial savings, taking control over these power companies that, well, let's face it, they have a monopoly. You can't choose your power company, but you can control the cost of your power. Ken and his expert team will help you to navigate through any complexities of solar energy. They'll tailor a system that's perfectly fit for your needs and for your budget. Get a rooftop setup or somewhere else on your land, or just start with solar to integrate powerful battery backups so when the storms do come, the power goes out in your block, it'll stay on at your home. It's not for everyone, but if you're even curious, don't you owe it to yourself to reach out and call Broker Solar for a free consultation? Listen, if you trust the point, if you trust me, I'm telling you, you can trust Broker Solar. Explore your solar potential at brokersolar.com. Start generating power on your terms. Broker Solar, empowering you while shining above the rest.
Hi, John here from Redbird Windows and Doors. You know what really bothers me about my industry? It's gimmicks instead of honesty. With Redbird, it's pretty simple. We do absolutely great work, we're local, and our projects are fairly priced. If you're ready for some new windows and doors or need our help, you'll get high-quality materials, service, and my personal guarantee. Online, find us at redbirdwindows.com or call me directly at 727-0561. That's 727-0561. Redbird Windows and Doors.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Some credit cards hit you with sky rate, annual fees, and surprise costs, but not here. Founders Federal Credit Union is proud to offer credit cards with rates below the national average, giving you more control over your own finances. Our Essential MasterCard rates are as low as 13.25 APR. Prefer rewards? Our rewards cards start at just 15.25% APR, so you can earn while you spend. And the best part? There are no annual fees and no balance transfer fees. Just straightforward savings designed to keep more of your hard-earned money where it belongs, in your hands. So whether you're looking to consolidate debt, build credit, or just want a smarter way to spend, we've got the right card for you. Visit foundersfederal.com/cc to learn more or apply for a new credit card today. Relax. You're with Founders Federal Credit Union. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
From touchdowns to three-point shots, we've got it all, tying the knots, bringing you the latest scoop. Sports Talk's the absolute truth. Sports Talk's the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news for you.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblutz, Chris Bergen. What did I say?
I've been gone that long.
Chris Bergen.
You forgot my last name.
I'm sorry. Chris Bergen. The plumber, Josh Cohen, and Matt Smith joining us now as Smitty was up in Greenville latter part of the week and taking in the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament, also known as the Dawn Staley Invitational. And welcome in, Smitty. Great to have you with us. Great job covering the event throughout the week, all weekend long. Great stories on our website. And what'd you take away from another dominant run by the USC women, another SEC tournament championship for them?
It really was dominant as well. That's 18 of 19 that the Gamecocks have won in that venue under Dawn Staley. And I was surprised. I've watched on television, I've watched Texas knock off South Carolina about a month ago, 66-62. And I settled in my seat Sunday, and I thought I was in for a true heavyweight bout. And instead, it was a second-round TKO by South Carolina. And I was very, very surprised. But the adjustments that Dawn Staley makes, and the more you watch her, the more credit you have to give her. I know what she's done as a recruiter, but also as a tactician. Now, part of that is because she's got more bullets in her gun than anyone else. I would say if I were to put an overriding theme, an overarching theme on the three games I saw South Carolina win this weekend, it would be their depth. The fact that Raven Johnson and Bree Hall can play so hard and give so much defensively, knowing they can come right off, and then you've got someone like a spark plug like Malaysia Fulwiley that will just high-five them, come in the ballgame, and then provide all that energy and speed offensively as soon as you come off the floor. And you would say, well, how can you deal with that as another team? And no one did this weekend. Now, we know UCLA got them, UConn got them, Texas got them in the regular season, but no one was beating South Carolina in Greenville this weekend. Wasn't going to happen.
And the Gamecocks move up to number 2 in the AP women's ranking. I mean, that really doesn't matter now because they're headed to the tournament as a number 1 seed. They picked up 6 first-place votes, so they're on the heels of UCLA, one of the 3 teams to beat them in the regular season. You know, there was a time there where some people would question, something you said stuck out to me, some people would question Dawn Staley as a tacticianer, that she didn't make really good in-game adjustments and in-game decisions. Now, better players certainly make for better executed decisions, but it seems to me like she has, over time, also grown in her position on the bench, making the proper adjustments, using her depth in a quality way, and keeping most players happy. Yeah, she's had some people transfer out, but when you've got that much talent and you have to split up that much playing time, keeping all those hot shots happy, that's a full-time job. I think she's done a heck of a job doing that.
I think so as well. And I know she would deny this. She and her staff would deny this. But as you watch the games unfold, it looks as if it's kind of like a sitcom that has a lot of different stars that you have to make sure you give everybody enough jokes going around, that you have to feature. Okay, well, Chloe's going to get 25. We're going to call on her here in game 1. And then in game 2, we're going to make sure Joyce Edwards gets a big run against Oklahoma. We're going to set some screens for her and set her up, and we're going to bring Malaysia Fulwiley in opportune moments and let her get out in the open court with Tessa Johnson and do her thing and electrify the crowd. And then on Sunday, it's going to be all about defense. And I know that they would say they don't do that, but as you said, you have to know that everybody has to get their shots. Everyone has to get their minutes. And how do you keep them all happy? You know, I mentioned, in my little open there, I didn't even mention Chloe Kitts. She was the tournament MVP, and Malaysia Fulwiley made the all-tournament team, and I think she only scored 5 points in the championship game. It's just the fact that this is a true team, and now more so than ever, because there is no Asia Wilson on this team. There is no Aaliyah Boston. There is no Camila Cardoso. So even though these are all players that are likely going to have professional careers, or many of them, and many of them will be highly drafted, there's not a player of the year candidate on this team. They do it because they do it together as a team. And as you mentioned, Dawn Staley has grown into this. She knows how to handle these egos. We saw Phil Jackson do this at the NBA level. That's an example. Red Auerbach from your generation, which you grew up with, we saw him do this, able to get everybody enough playing time. And there were rumbles earlier in the season about Malaysia Fulwiley not getting enough playing time. She's coming off the bench. Her reaction to that on Saturday and her postgame comments was, I trust this coaching staff, and now I am so glad that I did. I now look back and see what I was doing wrong, and now I fixed it, and now we've grown together, and look where we are.
Mm-hmm. Smitty, before I ask you this question, I want to make this perfectly clear. They could have played this game in Los Angeles, Austin, Greenville, or the Moon yesterday, and it wasn't going to matter. South Carolina was flat out better than Texas. That being said, Vic Schaefer came out in the postgame, and part of it, I'm sure, is the fact he can't beat Dawn Staley in the postseason, but he came out and talked about how it was such a huge advantage playing the SEC tournament in Greenville. And to be honest, I think there is clearly an advantage for the Gamecocks basically playing on their home floor. But do you think when you get someone of Vic Schaefer's sort of credibility starting to talk, and maybe that's what he's trying to do, plant a seed in Greg Sankey's mind? I mean, should Greenville be worried if a guy like Vic Schaefer is talking about trying to move the tournament and put it in a more neutral site, if you will, that possibly Greenville might lose this event on down the road?
I think it was a big story coming out of the weekend, if you're a fan of women's basketball, to watch this unfold. And look, a lot of good points were made on both sides. I was sitting about 10 feet away from Vic Schaefer when he made those comments. You could feel the steam was coming off of his head. Now, this is, by the way, is about 5 minutes after Dawn Staley had just heaped praise on Vic Schaefer and the city of Greenville, including the Bohemian Hotel. So the Greenville Chamber of Commerce is going to cut a check for Dawn Staley, and then the Chamber of Commerce in San Antonio is going to cut one for Vic Schaefer because he mentioned San Antonio 2 or 3 times. He said, is this game different in San Antonio? Probably. I think it's very interesting. Both of them made good points. This could go to the Supreme Court. So I'm of two minds. I listened to Vic Schaefer, and of course Kim Mulkey's made these comments as well, although in a much trashier manner. But what he said was, essentially, it's like playing South Carolina on its home floor. And I hope the committee recognizes that we played them 3 times, twice in their state, once in ours. And I hope the committee recognizes that. I think it's completely fair. I think anybody would tell you South Carolina has a big advantage. Dawn Staley admits there's a big advantage. But what she said, which was pretty interesting, she made 2 really good points. One, she said early in the weekend, it's not like we give these tickets away. Our fans support women's basketball. They come to Greenville. If you move this, does women's basketball get this same support? So that was a really good point. And Oklahoma's coach, by the way, said, I'd rather play in a full gym than an empty one, even if the fans are against us. So those are a couple points in favor of Greenville. Also, they do a great job. And then this was kind of the capper from Dawn Staley. She said, if we let this contract go and let Greenville get away, and they do such a fantastic job hosting this event, some other conference will come in here and take that contract. So the problem isn't that we would just leave and be somewhere else and be able to come back to Greenville when we want. The problem might be, what if the ACC or SoCon or someone else pops in here and takes this event away from us and this venue away? We'd be giving up the best venue in the Southeast for women's basketball at this time of year if we let this one get away. So
I'll interject this. I want to interject this, too.
Okay.
I know Bergie has another question, but to his to Schaefer's comments, I mean, it reminds me of 2 things. Number one, the last time the tournament was not staged in Greenville, South Carolina did not win it. They lost to Kentucky. That was in Nashville. And then it also reminds me of the complaints ACC baseball teams made against Clemson when the baseball tournament was held in Greenville for an extended run, and Clemson dominated the ACC baseball tournament there. But they drew huge crowds. I mean, because Clemson was winning and playing deep into the tournament, they set all kind of attendance records. So I don't know. It's been in Durham now for a few years, moved around a little bit. I don't know that they're having the attendance like they had there in Greenville for that particular run. I'm sorry, Berg, you wanted to get that in. Go ahead.
No, it's a great point, Phil, and I think that's something they need to take into consideration. I mean, how much exposure do you want to continue to put on, not just Gamecock basketball, but SEC women's basketball as a whole? And I think Greenville has done a terrific job. I thought they did an outstanding job when they've hosted the NCAA men's regionals, too. I think Greenville is a player in college basketball and needs to stay that way. Vic Schaefer's comments notwithstanding, and again, I think some of it's sour grapes because he has has not found a way, whether he was at Mississippi State or at Texas, to beat the Gamecocks in the postseason. One other thing, Smitty, I was talking with Phil about this earlier, just watching them play over the weekend. I think Carolina may look back at the tail end of this season, whatever happens, and think that the Connecticut loss may have been the best thing that happened to that basketball team, because I think it actually has helped them. I think it showed them their weaknesses, and they've gone back and gone back to work, and it's clear, especially defensively, the lapses they had against UConn, and quite frankly, UConn's going to make a lot of people look that bad, but the lapses that they had against UConn, I think they've corrected and are a much, much better basketball team than they were just a couple of weeks ago when they lost to Connecticut. Would you agree after what you saw this weekend?
Oh, there's no question they're playing their best ball here. And Dawn Staley said afterward, after they had claimed the championship, that, it's because they play that schedule. That's why, because of the losses to UCLA and to Texas and to UConn. And I don't know what to do. I'm actually glad I'm not on this committee. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the top of women's basketball other than South Carolina until this weekend. But come on, how do you choose between these 5 teams like Southern Cal and UCLA and UConn and South Carolina and Texas? Who gets the overall number 1 seed? Because someone's going to be stuck with a number 2. And the latest bracketology has UConn as a 2. Now, that's a team that beat South Carolina by 30. How would you like to be a 1 seed, a Texas or a UCLA, and do what you have done all season long, including beating South Carolina in the regular season, and then you get stuck with UConn in your bracket as a 2 seed? So somebody's not going to be happy about the way this all works out. Maybe it could be South Carolina and UConn in an Elite 8 rematch. So I think that there's 5 really deserving teams, and right now UConn is the one on the outside looking in. They play tonight. They could win another Big East championship tonight and still only get a 2 seed just because the other teams have done so much in terms of strength of schedule and everything. Oh, and by the way, going into tonight, UConn's number 1 in the net rankings. So someone is going to have a real gripe when the brackets come out.
All right, Smitty, we'll let you catch up on your rest a little bit, and we appreciate it. Great job. We're going to hear a little bit from Dawn Staley coming up, and we will talk to you later in the week.
Appreciate it, Smitty.
Absolutely. And yes, in 3 days, I'll be in the ACC championship in Charlotte, where Duke and North Carolina have an advantage. I'll report from there.
If your magic, if the magic that you worked for the USC women, and we know that you have some magic when it comes to the ladies, if that magic carries over to the Clemson men, then Brad Brownell will be hoisting that trophy Saturday night in Charlotte,
and get a big bonus on top of it.
He's already got $200,000 bonus for getting a top 4 seed. So yeah, you're right. He will be more than happy to take that check. Probably put it into his NIL account to use to buy some players. He's done a good job with that. All right, thank you very much, Smitty. Comments from Dawn Staley from yesterday afternoon coming up. A little bit from her to give complete coverage of what the USC women did up in Greenville. By the way, they announced today the USC women did. They're going to have a 2-season series with Southern Cal starting next year in Los Angeles, where the Lakers play, and then the next season in Greenville, they'll play each other. Be right back.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment. There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller-Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
All right, back we are on Sports Talk Media Network. Down at the coast this past weekend. You know, there's an area there in Hilton Head known as Sun City. You've heard of Sun City, Bergie?
I have.
Yeah, it's for the older generation. We were in an area that I call, that's Sun City. We are in Cloud City, which is,
the
kind
entire
of
state.
No. The area that we were in, I call it Cloud City. It's sort of a spinoff on Sun City in that, a little bit older crowd, but not as geriatric as that group there at Sun City, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So, but my point in all this is being down at the beach, of course, is a great place to be in. Always fun going to the coast of South Carolina. And you want to make your plans now for your getaway to the coast of South Carolina coming up maybe this spring, what's left of it, or into the summer. And so don't wait too long because everything's going to get booked up. You know how that is. So give Jimmy Smith a call today at 843-237-4246, 843-237-4246. That is Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. And Jimmy and the staff will take good care of you and find for you exactly what you're looking for and also fitting your budget as well. That number again, 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. Of course, we were down there.
Hopefully some of this rain, Phil, has helped douse some of that wildfire in Carolina Forest, just outside of Myrtle Beach. It's been burning now for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully the rain today will help out the first responders who are having to deal with that. And, they're starting to get tired.
Yeah.
Because this is going on now 2 weeks.
Also, we were down there Thursday, of course, to broadcast from the Classic baseball tournament. They did a fantastic job. We had a terrific time meeting a lot of people and shaking a lot of hands and saying hello to folks. I wanted to mention that Chapin ended up winning the tournament title. Chapin won the tournament championship, and so congratulations to Chapin. Obviously, to win that thing, you got to have a pretty good team because you got some really good competition that you're facing in your 4 games: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Chapin came away the winner in that event. All right, Dawn Staley. Here is some of what she said after the Gamecocks cut down the nets once again in Greenville, winning another SEC championship, building that momentum towards the upcoming NCAA tournament.
Dawn, the same thing. The defense just seemed really locked in. Do you think that was the best defensive performance that y'all have had this year?
I think it was timely. I think it was what we needed today. I think we needed to play a lot better than the last time that we played them. And, I do think we used our experience being here to our advantage. I know Fagan's been here a lot. Chloe's been here a lot. Some of the young ones, Raven's been here a lot. Breezy's been here a lot. So it's different. And I know there are a lot of South Carolina fans in the building, but it's just different playing on this Sunday. And if you haven't really experienced it, you need to experience it. And I know that come the next few years, Texas is going to be right back here. And they'll be, and I'm not saying that they weren't prepared. It's just, to win a national championship, you got to have been to a Final Four and experienced all the things that come with it. And then if you ever get a chance to go back, you just right some of the ship that needs to be righted. You get overly excited, you get so close to the goal, and then something trips you up. When you've gone through that process, it doesn't trip you up.
We'll stay here in the front.
And I'm not saying that's what happened to Texas, y'all. I'm just giving you all my experience with being here and being at a Final Four.
Don, when we were down in Columbia for the senior night, I asked you if you thought this was going to be the toughest SEC champion. You said by far this is going to be the toughest. Yet you guys won by 21, 18, and 19. Are you surprised, first of all, that you guys came out on top by those wide margins? And what does that say about your team as well?
I mean, it didn't feel like that. It didn't. Like, the stress levels were up for the 3 games. I mean, we're playing some of our best basketball, and we didn't know how it would turn out. But I thought we put our habits out there on the floor for 3 games, and it wasn't perfect basketball, but I think we were in it for longer stretches the way that we needed to play in order for us to win, and it produced some really quality wins against like stiff competition.
All right, Dawn Staley from the Gamecocks win yesterday in Greenville. Now they'll have plenty of time to get ready, Bergie. They got all this week off. They'll find out Sunday about the bracket they're going to be in. They're going to host first 2 games in Columbia, so they got plenty of time to rest up and get ready for the road ahead of them, which they hope, of course, will lead to another national title.
Well, and it's good and bad. I guess you can approach it 2 different ways. I've always thought that was one of the negatives to the women's tournament is the factor that the majority of them get their bids out, or at least wrap up their conference tournaments a week prior to Selection Monday. And so you've got a team like South Carolina that won't play until, Thursday or Friday of the following week. So you've got almost 2 weeks off at this time of year, unless you're really, really beat up. And I don't think outside of the typical bumps and bruises, they are. They'd probably like to start playing next week as opposed to having to wait 2 weeks.
Well, especially the way they're playing. When you're playing at a high level and you're playing well, you want to keep it rolling. So
exactly.
Well, we'll see who the committee sends to Columbia to get beat by 50. Maybe the other team will provide some competition. Top of the hour break. We'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. The U.S. stock market sell-off accelerated as worries grew about pain for the economy because of tariffs and other policies. Correspondent Josh Boak reports President Trump is not ruling out a recession amid fears over the impacts of his tariffs.
Trump has talked about a disruption or a little disturbance, but people don't really know what a disruption or a disturbance is, and that leads them to think about the worst-case scenario instead of the best-case scenario that Trump is promising.
Elon Musk's Tesla fell to one of the market's sharpest losses, as did airlines and other companies that need U.S. shoppers feeling confident enough to spend. Freshman Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan says the Democrat Party has yet to formulate a strong response to President Trump. Bob Agnew reports.
Slotkin told NBC's Meet the Press it's no secret President Trump has had Democrats on their heels since he was sworn in January. She says it's a situation that needs to be addressed. Quote, I think you can't get better until you admit you have a problem. She and other Democrats have hinted it may be time for new Democrat leadership to emerge and advance the party's agenda over the next 4 years. Bob Agnew reported.
A small plane crashed into the parking lot at a retirement community in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania Sunday afternoon, injuring the 5 people aboard. Janice Wenger is a resident at Brethren Village and lives in one of the buildings near the crash site.
We all feel so blessed that it stopped short of the building because there are 1,200 residents here on campus. Now, they don't all live in that building, obviously, but a large portion of them do. And it could have been so much worse.
On Wall Street, the Dow down by 890 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
An oil tanker and a cargo ship have collided off the coast of eastern England, setting both vessels on fire and triggering a major rescue operation.
Britain's Maritime and Coast Guard Agency says that several lifeboats and a Coast Guard rescue helicopter have been dispatched to the scene in the North Sea, along with a Coast Guard plane and nearby vessels with firefighting capability. Over 30 people have been brought ashore, but their condition is not immediately clear. The RNLI Lifeboat Agency says there were reports that a number of people had abandoned the vessels following a collision, and there were fires on both ships. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Officially, a crew member on one of the ships is reported missing. Greenpeace UK says it's too early to assess the extent of any environmental damage from Monday's collision, which took place in a busy fishing ground. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. The skies do clear out overnight. We'll have a chilly low temperature of 38. Tomorrow, a difference a day makes, right? Sunshine returning, the high of 74. And this continues Wednesday. Gorgeous, sunshine-filled skies, a high all the way up to 80. We are warm the rest of the week. Rain likely for the weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, welcome back. Busy Monday night edition of Sports Talk. Sports Talk Media Network will be in Nashville starting tomorrow night for what will likely be a very brief stay. I'm not even sure I should take a change of underwear, but being somebody who's really concerned about good hygiene, I will. Who knows?
You don't think they beat Arkansas a second go-round?
No, I don't. But, hey, it's March Madness. funny things can happen. They're underway up in Asheville, championship game of the SoCon. Wofford is leading Furman. They're out to the quick start, 8-2. Charleston and Wilmington coming up in the CAA. That's an 8:30 tip. South Carolina State in the MEAC, they don't play their first game until Wednesday. They play the 8 o'clock game Wednesday night. They'll play Coppin State, number 2 seed SC State, and Coppin State on Wednesday. A couple of other quick notes, and then our guests, Raekwon O'Neal, is going to join us unless he gets signed to some mega NFL contract here in the next 30 seconds or so. Clemson infielder Jaron Purified was named the ACC Player of the Week. What a week. Of course, Clemson went 5-0. He was 12 for 20, 2 homers, 2 triples, a double, 9 RBIs, 5 runs scored, on base a lot, high slugging percentage. So he is the Player of the Week in the ACC. Rankings this week, Baseball America has Clemson 5, D1 has Clemson 10. Perfect Game has the Tigers 4, and the coaches rank them 6. Coastal Carolina's ranked 24th by D1 and 15th by Perfect Game. We'll have Coach Toman with us at the bottom of the hour. Net rankings, this is for basketball, this week's net rankings for the state teams. Clemson is 22, South Carolina is 87, and Furman is 121, Wofford 134, Charleston 147, Winthrop 166, State 197, Presbyterian 237, Charleston Southern 294, Coastal 327, Upstate 347, and Citadel 361. Probably last time we have to update those across the state since everybody's practically done. All right, let's talk some humanity. Let's talk about giving back to the community, and let's talk some NFL football with Raekwon O'Neal from Conway. Of course, he did not play his college football in our state. We're not going to hold that against him. He went to Rutgers and then finished up at UCLA. And now with the Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFL, and he has got a very special event coming up the end of this month as he is looking to raise money for the Raekwon O'Neal Foundation, with all the proceeds going to a scholarship fund he's doing at Conway High School. So first of all, sir, congratulations on that. That's awesome that you're doing that for your old high school, the Conway Tigers.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And I just love giving back to my community.
Why? Why do you feel the need to give back?
It's always been placed in my heart since I was a kid, no matter if it was just going across the street to help out, like my aunt, just giving back to her, helping out. That's where it started, all that. That's when I just fell in love with seeing the joy in her face when I just came over without even her asking. And so as I got older throughout high school, there was a chance for me to give back. I did a missionary trip with The Rock for my spring break. So that's my first time actually like giving back outside of Conway.
You said you did a trip with The Rock?
No, not The Rock Church, not like Dwayne Johnson. It's called The Rock. It's called The Rock Church in Conway.
Okay.
I thought the same thing, Phil. I thought it was really cool. This is too, but I thought
I want to know if you got into a wrestling match with him. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
But yes, sir. So I did that in the Dominican Republic in 2016, and so since then, it's been on my heart. God has placed that in my heart, and now He placed me with the NFL, and I've just been using my platform to give back to my community and to other communities that I've been a part of.
That is awesome. So the scholarship fund that you're doing for Conway High School, do you at this point kind of know the details of, what who can get access to this money? Is it for a particular form of education or related to a particular sport? What do you have in mind there?
It's just for the students that are at Conway High who's looking to go to college after their senior year. So the ones that's graduating this year, whoever. It don't matter like if it's sports or it's a community college. Just the ones that's going on to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to help them, like going into college, help them out, give them some money in their pocket for their books, for school supplies, whatever they need for their school that they're going to.
That is fantastic. You're going to have the tournament at a terrific golf course, the International Club in Myrtle Beach. I know it well.
Sure.
And you better have your game with you. You go out there. Give us details on the tournament, how folks can sign up, everything they need to know about playing in this.
Okay. Yeah, so my golf tournament is going to be March 29th. And like Phil said earlier, all the proceeds will go towards my scholarship fund. And the way people can sign up, there's a link in my Instagram at Raekwon O'Neal. If you don't know how to spell it, it's RAIQWON, and O'Neal's ONEAL. So Raekwon O'Neal, go to my bio. The link is there for people to sign up. Golfers are $140, and the spectators are $40.
How many people are you expecting to participate? How big of a field do you expect to have or want to have?
So we maxed out the limit at 144 for spectators and 144 for golfers. So we're just trying to max that out. And I'll be grateful for how many people show up.
Absolutely. Do you plan some other things around the event, like autograph signings or any sort of interaction for the fans with any? Do you have some other athletes who are planning to attend?
I know some are in the talks about it. I don't know if they can make it or not, because they do, like, at around this time it's our off season, so they do have planned trips already planned ahead.
Sure.
So I will be doing like photos and signing for the fans that came out there.
Absolutely. Talking to Raekwon O'Neal. So let's talk a moment about the NFL. Today was the opening of the free agency period. What is your status with the NFL, with the Bucs right now?
Right now, I signed a futures deal with them once the season ended, so I will be back in Tampa this season.
How's your opportunity look there for playing a significant role with them? How does it look depth chart wise?
Right now, I'm just looking to make that active roster. If I don't take a starting spot, I'll take the backup to second string.
Just want to make the team and be a part of it, huh?
Always.
Yeah. So you actually started out, once you finished your college career at UCLA, you actually started out in Seattle, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was great. I was blessed to just be able to get that call and come down to Tampa first. And then when I got that call, so after that, let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So once I got that call, I went through camp with them and I made practice squad. And when week 2 came around of the season, I got the call from Seattle to get for an active spot. So I was with Seattle for the whole year on the active roster. And then after training camp this past season, I got released. And then Tampa Bay called back, and I got signed back with Tampa Bay this past season.
Gotcha. You know, we all think it's a glamorous thing, professional sports, the NFL and all that, but, I mean, it's heartless. You can be on a team, and then they can just cut you for cap reasons or personnel reasons or, you know, whatever they're thinking about there in the front office, and you can be out there looking for another job somewhere just like that.
Absolutely. Every day is an interview, and the NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah. This is true. How do you feel about your chances of making the Bucs?
My chances are high. The ball is in my park.
What do you think you have to? What do you think you have to show them? What do you think you have to show them?
The ability that I belong here, that I could play at the highest level possible.
You think they saw a little bit of that last year while you were there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How was your experience at UCLA? I remember you were at Rutgers, and you kind of emerged as a standout player there. You went into the portal, and did you ever draw any interest? I know Clemson wasn't doing much in the portal then. Did South Carolina show much interest in you when you were in the portal, and why did you end up at UCLA?
It's funny because Clemson did reach out, but they was waiting for their numbers to be done after spring ball, but South Carolina never reached out. So UCLA was one of the first schools that actually called me, and when I went out there on a visit, I just felt like home. Again, the education was big for me. What I wanted to do in my master's program was teaching, coaching, leadership, and like that staff was like an NFL staff, and so like I got best of both worlds. The education was number 3 in the nation, and the staff was the NFL staff. So it prepared me like it was at Rutgers. That was the NFL staff as well, under Coach Shiano and Coach Ash. So that prepared me for the next level.
I'll tell you what, small town kid from Conway, you go and live outside of New York for, 4 years, and then fly across the country and live in Los Angeles. I mean, you become a big city guy.
Nah, I can never be a big city guy. I'm always a big country boy at heart.
There you go. What do you like when you were growing up? What did you like to do? Were you an outdoorsman? Did you like to go fishing, or was it all sports for you?
Outside of sports, I love to go dirt bike riding and 4-wheeler riding and fishing with my uncles and my cousins.
Where'd you like to go fishing? The Waccamaw?
No, it was more so a pond. It was like just finding a pond and going fishing out there.
Yeah, that's nice. Well,
yes,
one more time, we'll remind everybody about your tournament coming up March 29th. This is to raise money for your foundation, and you're doing a scholarship fund for Conway High School. It's going to be at the International Club, which is in it's actually Murrells Inlet. But,
Murrells Inlet, yes, sir.
Great place. And again, the best way for folks to get signed up is to go to your Instagram. Is that the best place?
At my Instagram, you can go to my LinkedIn, or you can go to my Facebook. It's all in my bio.
RAIQW. Your parents did not do you any favors with how they spelled your first name.
My mom always said that's a unique way. It's different.
That it is. RAIQWON, O with an apostrophe,
Correct.
Neil, O'Neill. Hey, we thank you for being with us, and keep in touch. Let us know how things are coming along, and it's good talking to you. Always welcome to have you back on the show. Yes, sir. Thank you, Raekwon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Appreciate
You
it.
too. Thank you very much. Love it when guys give back there, Bergie.
No doubt. I loved his comment about you asked him what he has to show, and he said, I've got to show that I belong here. Every day is an interview.
Yeah.
Kids, you need to hear that, because that's true of any life pursuit. Every day is an interview. I love that. We need to put that up on our Twitter page and leave it there.
Every
Even
day
for Sports Talk
is an interview. That's right. Well, we followed him in recruiting, used to talk to him some, and I appreciate him reaching back out to us because of that contact. And we'll be back.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, it's hunting season in South Carolina this fall, and folks need to be prepared from a legal standpoint.
That's right, Phil. Everyone always needs to buy their hunting license or fishing license. Everyone always worries about losing their license. Well, now that's not a problem anymore, because you can keep your license on your phone. That's right. Go Outdoors SC. It's an app. Look for it on your Apple or Android devices. You can buy your license, you can renew your boat registration, and it's all right there on your phone. Remember, Go Outdoors SC in your app store.
Bringing you the latest in sports across South Carolina and beyond. This is Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Are credit card rates weighing you down? Founders Federal Credit Union is here to help, offering rates below the national average. Our Essential MasterCard is as low as 13.25% APR, and our rewards cards start at just 15.25% APR. Pair that with zero annual fees and zero balance transfer fees. Apply today and keep more of your money in your pocket. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc to learn more or apply for a new credit card today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your rec case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett, or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. Jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
The difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
George Bryan here with Tsunami Bar Sports and some great spring golf news. If you're ready to mash your tater, I think you need a Laginator. And if you want to get more speed and crack the whip, it's time for a mini stick. So TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 to get 10% off the Laginator and the mini stick. That's TsunamiBarSports.com, GB10 for 10% off.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time to give you the recruiting report tonight. It is jam-packed, of course, after a busy weekend, especially up at Clemson with their elite retreat. It's brought to you by Seawells. Don't forget, Daily Luncheon Buffet begins this week tomorrow, Tuesday through Friday. Make sure you get there, enjoy a delicious Daily Luncheon Buffet from 11 till 2. You need the very best in catering. All you got to do is call Seawells at 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Let's run through what's happened with Clemson. Commitment this afternoon from cornerback Marcel Gibson with a P, 5'11", 170 out of Dallas. Chose the Tigers from an offer list that also included SMU, Kansas State, Maryland, Georgia Tech, Washington, Washington State, Ole Miss, Nebraska, Memphis, and Vanderbilt. He was at Clemson for his first visit Saturday, and he picked up the offer. Didn't take him long to make a decision. His father played corner at Wyoming. His uncle is former NFL All-Pro safety Tayshaun Gibson. He's been part of a program that's played in 4 straight state championship games. He's also a track athlete. Then, last night, kind of late, offensive guard Chancellor Barkley, 6'4", 290, Mineola, Florida, announced a commitment to the Tigers. He was being projected by On3 to go to Florida on their online profile for him. He camped at Clemson last summer, and the Tigers' offensive line coach, Matt Luke, visited him back in January. He returned for a game at Clemson in November, the Louisville game, and he's got an official at Clemson May 30th. He had also set officials with Florida, Georgia, and Oklahoma. So those are sort of his finalists. So he is headed to Clemson. Also, the Tigers picked up a commitment on Sunday afternoon from center Grant Wise, 6'3", 310, Milton, Florida. This was not a big surprise. Chose the Tigers over Tennessee, Oregon, Miami, and Alabama. Kind of appeared from talking to him that he was trending toward Clemson for a good while. He made many visits to Clemson over the last year or so. So it just kind of seemed like that one was going to happen. Saturday night, the Tigers got 2 receiver commitments. Nassim Burrows, 6 feet 175 of Jacksonville, and Connor Salmon, 6'2", 195 from Potomac, Maryland. Burrows also had Florida, Florida State, Texas, Notre Dame, and Wisconsin, where his brother is a receiver. They were on his short list, and he was at Clemson last June and was back for a game last September. He's got an official to Clemson May 30th. He also had officials set to Florida, Southern Cal, and Texas. On 3 had Florida as the heavy favorite to land Burrows before he went to Clemson. I point this out just to kind of tell you where things stood in the recruiting media on particular players as they make their visits. I think it's kind of interesting to see what the recruiting media was thinking as these visits were taking place, and then Clemson, they got the job done on the visit. In 9 games this season, he had 33 catches, 629 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Salmon is also a state track champion in Virginia. He ran a 10-400 and a 21-1 200 meters. He visited Clemson last June, was back for a game in September. He's got his official to Clemson May 30th, and he also set officials with Penn State, Notre Dame, and Stanford. Of course, those won't take place. And he had been projected to Notre Dame, with Penn State the second favorite. He'd been to Penn State quite a bit. A lot of people were thinking that Penn State had the inside there, but obviously not the case. And, of course, on Friday, offensive tackle Adam Guthrie committed to Clemson. We covered that back then. So the Tigers now have 11 commitments. Cornerbacks Shavar Young and Marcel Gibson. Quarterbacks Tate Reynolds and Brock Bradley. Tight end Tavion Wilson. Center Grant Wise. Guard Chancellor Barclay. Tackles Braden Wilms and Adam Guthrie. And wide receivers Naeem Burrows and Connor Salmon. Kind of seems like a Bergie that Dabo Sweeney is playing Noah here, of Noah's Ark fame. He's bringing them in two by two.
Yeah, get a pair of every position. It's funny about the Salmon kid. I was working on a rewrite for his recruiting story for our website today, and I misread the school he's attending in Maryland, and I thought they had gotten 2 from the Bowles school because the one he's in Maryland is spelled fairly similarly. And of course, the Bowles school down at Jacksonville has produced outstanding players, including one of the guys that Clemson got over the weekend. So I thought they had gotten 2 from there, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. No, actually,
they've done a really nice job.
In Jacksonville, it's the Bowles School, and in Potomac, it's the Bullis School.
Yes.
Yeah. But he actually is from Virginia. He attended a school in Virginia, but he transferred to the school in Potomac, Maryland for this season. Okay, we're going to hit the break. I got a little bit more in recruiting. Got to hit the break, and we'll come back and wrap up recruiting. And then we will be joined by the one and only Coach Jim Toman as we dive into the baseball weekend. What a weekend it was. South Carolina wrapped up a sweep of Morehead State. They actually had some pitching yesterday after both teams were hitting the ball everywhere the first 2 games. Had a 1-0 game yesterday, and Clemson continues to roll along. How about Coastal going up to East Carolina and winning that series? All right, we'll be back after the break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. The skies do clear out overnight. We'll have a chilly low temperature of 38. Tomorrow, a difference a day makes, right? Sunshine returning, the high of 74. And this continues Wednesday. Gorgeous. Sunshine-filled skies, a high all the way up to 80. We are warm the rest of the week. Rain likely for the weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you step out into H&J Cattle's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hdjcattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting as temperatures climb to near records in parts of the central United States. A potent storm system was setting up to wallop the nation later. It's expected to pour heavy rain on western states later this week before rumbling into the central United States. Forecasters say it could spawn tornadoes in the south. The system could also dump heavy snow across parts of the Great Plains and upper Midwest, creating blizzard conditions. Two senior Ukrainian officials say a Kyiv delegation that will meet with America's top diplomat in Saudi Arabia will propose a ceasefire with Russia covering the Black Sea and long-range missile strikes. The officials also told the Associated Press that the delegation is ready to sign an agreement with the United States on access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. More details at srnnews.com.
The top international business school in the country is here in Columbia, and you can hear directly from the Darla Moore School. Join me, Casey Whitener, for more impact, phenomenal guests, and work that impacts our community and our state. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on 100.7 The Point.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
Coach Toman coming up in just a moment, just a bit outside. Going to wrap up the recruiting report brought to you by Seawell's. Got several more notes of importance. Clemson offered a bunch of people over the weekend. Besides getting those commitments, offensive tackle Zayden Crimpin, 6'8", 275, out of Prosper, Texas. Clemson also offering offensive tackle Cannon Pickett, 6'4", 310 from Tampa. Tigers also offered defensive tackle Elijah Golden, 6'4", 270 from Sarasota. Defensive tackle Marcus Almada, 6'4", 280 from Marion, Massachusetts. They offered defensive end Camarion Johnson from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, 6'2", 250. Running back Javian Mallory, 5'11", 200 from Boca Raton, Florida. He's got over 50 offers and appears to be a strong Miami lean, but after his visit to Clemson, you never know. Some other notes, linebacker Adam Batugan Ali, 6'2", 240, West Palm Beach, Florida, has Clemson down for a March 31st spring visit. Offensive tackle Kamari Blair of Clarksville, Tennessee, was at Vanderbilt last week. He's got Ole Miss the 19th and South Carolina on April 6th. Cornerback Cedric Cisse from Lakewood, former NC State commitment, has been offered a PWO by USC. Plans a decision on that soon. Of course, his brother, cornerback Brandon Cisse, transferred to USC from NC State. Like, who in their right mind would want to go to NC State? I mean, they just, if you have to get into NC State, Bergie, you know all you have to do? You know what test you have to pass to get into NC State?
I do not.
It's called the pink tongue test. If your tongue is pink, you can get in.
And they fire their basketball coach a season after taking them to the Final Four.
I have a reason for picking on NC State right now because of our guest on hold. South Carolina target defensive tackle Trayshawn Ruffin was at North Carolina Saturday. He's got LSU March 14th, and he plans to visit South Carolina this spring. He's been a Texas A&M commit. South Carolina quarterback target Brady Smigel was at Washington Saturday. He's got USC on the 27th at South Carolina, and officials are set with Michigan and Washington. Defensive end Rodney Dunham of Charlotte, he named a Final Five of USC, Duke, Tennessee, Georgia, and Notre Dame. He's been to South Carolina a lot. He's got officials with Georgia April 11th, USC May 30th, Duke June 6th, Notre Dame June 13th, and Tennessee June 20th. On 3 has Duke as the favorite for now. He's been to Duke a lot. Running back Jalen McGill of Mountain View Prep plans spring visits Clemson, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Orangeburg Prep tight end Tilden Riley was at West Virginia Saturday. 2027 offensive tackle Nate Carson of Irmo was offered by Florida on a visit Saturday. He also was offered recently by Tennessee. Basketball, this is a story I like. Well, let me do this one first. Upstate guard 6'6" Mr. Dean is transferring after earning Freshman of the Year honors in the Big South. Mr. Dean, the Miami native, averaged 16 points and 5.5 rebounds per game this season. Charleston Southern guard R.J. Johnson has entered the transfer portal, John. But here's the other story I wanted to mention. South Carolina women's target, Aaliyah Chavez, some say best player in the country, reportedly has Texas and Oklahoma as her two favorites, with her commitment announcement coming on March 25th. This according to On3. The website, citing sources, reported that Chavez of Lubbock, Texas, is seeking $1.5 million in an NIL deal from the school she chooses. The report stated Texas Tech also remains in the running as distance from home is a factor with her. She scored almost 4,800 points in her career and averaged over 35 points per game this season.
Wow.
But they have information that she's asking for $1.5 million. So if you think she's worth it and you think you want to get your women's basketball program at that level, you'll pay the price to get her done and get her in. All right, there you go with recruiting.
Texas Tech's only opportunity to become relevant in women's basketball, try and buy a trip to the NCAA tournament.
Well, that's what it's all about now, my man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, and we'll talk with Lamont Paris tomorrow, but I mean, things I've been reading about South Carolina basketball from insiders, it's all about going out and spending more money on players. That's going to be the quick fix now for everybody is and it's just not South Carolina. I mean, I'm reading comments from various other coaches. They're just flat out saying it. It's about going out. I'm not recruiting high school guys. It's about going out and spending as much money as I can to get the best players to come in. That's what it's going to be, which is, of course, the same model that the pros have, which means this is professional sports. There's no sense hiding away from it and running from it. It's just pure professional sports now, and it's all free agency at this point, which will change as of July 1st to some degree. Okay, recruiting brought to you by Seawells. All right, now it's time to talk some serious college baseball with Coach Jim Toman.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
You might be wondering why we waited so long there with the music as we welcome in Coach Toman. It's sort of like I envision Coach Toman, who's a rather muscular individual. When you watch WWE, for example, they have long musical interludes as the combatants walk towards the ring, into the ring. So this is sort of our way of allowing Coach Toman to walk into this ring of fire of sports talk, flexing his guns as he walks inside the what do they call the wrestling?
Into the ring.
Yeah, but I mean, there's something there. Another
the square, maybe the square.
I thought they called it. Hey, you weren't offended by me making fun of NC State, were you?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm a Gamecock guy. I do have 2 degrees from the Wolf Pack, but I'm a I spent a long time at South Carolina.
Yes, you did.
But anyway, I'm neutral now that I'm a radio personality. I'm neutral.
You're media.
That's I'm media, so I have to be neutral.
You have to rise
That being said,
above.
can I go on record saying I'm not giving anyone $1.5 million to play women's basketball? I'm going to go on record.
You're going to have to do that if you want to compete.
Yeah, well, I don't think I want to compete $1.5 million to a high school women's basketball player. I don't like the NIL period in any sports. College is like the pros now, and it's really not good. It's not good for college football. It's not good for college baseball. Not good for college basketball. I get it; they're making money, but now we're pros. I thought this was college athletics.
Well,
I didn't know it was professional athletics.
In my heart, I agree with you. Okay, in my heart, I agree with you. But I have to say this to people who say that. I'm like, I don't see where it's hurting. I see sellouts. I see ESPN espouses these great TV ratings.
Where it's hurting, you're giving so much money to 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. They need to be in college, going to class, and learn about their grades.
Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that anymore. Who cares about that anymore?
Well, I do.
But you're not a coach any longer.
Like I said, I was the 4.0 graduate student, a 1.0 for 4 straight years. But I was straight A's. I really was in grad school. I just don't like it. I mean, I can have an opinion that I don't like it,
True.
and you can have the opinion that
I
no
didn't
one
know.
cares.
I didn't say. Yeah. All I'm saying is,
I get it.
I'm looking at it in the real world now. I fought it on the show. I fought it in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, you did the right thing by fighting it. It's a sad deal, and I don't know many coaches that like it.
No, I agree.
The kids like it because they're making money, but it's really a disaster is what it is right now for me.
I think a disaster could happen. I think, this thing could blow up in some way and do damage.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know that it's,
Yeah, it doesn't seem right to me. Anyway,
okay.
we're talking college
Let's
baseball.
talk college baseball.
Let's move on.
What you got? What do you want to serve up first?
Gamecocks. They went 5-0 since the Clemson sweep. The RPI is still good, 18 RPI, which is amazing because the only 3 good teams they played was Clemson. But they're 14-3, So with that record and getting a chance to play Clemson, who's I think 5th in the RPI, South Carolina's RPI therefore goes up, which is kind of a flaw in the RPI rankings, but that's what we have to go with. But better hitting for the Gamecocks this past week. I like the fact that Stone had 2 home runs, and the shortstop, who's really good defensively, has started hitting, Casimir. And then I think the freshmen, Holland and Sobey, hit well. Obviously, Sunday, it was 1-0, so there wasn't any hitting there for either team. However, in general, a 5-0 week, you're always going to like that. The Gamecocks have Georgia State, I believe, on Wednesday. And then they get into the SEC, where there's not going to be any easy games.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Comes in here, and they're 12th in the country.
Let me ask you something real quick, if I can interject something. Sure. Then you hit on it. 1-0 on Sunday after they won a couple of slugfests. And listening to Coach Maneri's comments after yesterday's game, I mean, they got an outstanding pitching performance from 4 pitchers who combined on a 4-hitter, yet he seemed more – he was happy with that in a 1-0 win, don't get me wrong, but he seemed more deflated by the fact that they couldn't hit the pitching from Morehead State. Is he that – do you know him well enough? Is he that kind of coach where he's more driven by the offense than excellent pitching?
Well, he's happy they won, but anyone that only wins 1-0 against Morehead State, and they're a good program, but neither team showed up to hit on Sunday, which is unusual because, the Gamecocks hit really well the whole series, the whole week, really, and Morehead State can hit. They always have been able to hit. So that was unusual that I wasn't there, but it's unusual that it was 1-0, and I could see how Coach Maneri is deflated because they hit so well during the week to go 4-0, and then Sunday it just didn't happen. So, I mean, that's baseball.
Sure.
So, yeah, he probably I wouldn't be happy with 1-0 either on Sunday, but you have to be happy with 5-0 and have to be won 5 games in a row, 14-3. And, you get one of them Clemson games and the RPI could be 8 or something like that right now. But it's still a good RPI at 18. It's a little too early for RPI. However, it's a lot better to have an 18 RPI, than a 58 RPI. And there's some teams in state that have really bad RPIs already, and we haven't even barely started conference play, and they're already looking at maybe having to win their conference tournament just to get an NCAA bid because their RPI is so bad already. And I'll talk about them teams in a second. But Clemson keeps rolling. I believe it's 13 in a row. Your guru stat guys can check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 13 in a row because they only lost, I think, to Ole Miss. They're 15-1 with a 5 RPI. They're ranked in the top 5 in most of the polls, or should be. They got 2 tough games midweek versus Liberty, and I say it's tough because I know that Liberty and Clemson, and I will give myself a plug, Storm Toman is 3-0 against the Clemson Tigers when he was coaching at Liberty. So I'm looking for Liberty to win one of these midweek games.
Didn't one of those wins come on a regional in Columbia?
No, 2 of them at the regional and then 1 at Clemson. Let's get it right.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sell you short.
3-0 versus a Hall of Famer. Zach Leggett is a Hall of Famer, and Storm Toman, who's unemployed, but he is a radio personality, and you're looking at 3-0 versus a Hall of Famer.
Hey,
okay,
I remember. Hang on, I remember the press conference. You did storm in there. You stole the show from Chad Holbrook and Jack Leggett. I can't remember who the 4th team was there. You stole the limelight from everybody that was there.
Yeah, I was having fun, man. And I didn't even have a beer that day. That was good. It was fun.
Yes, it was.
It's only fun when you win, guys. When you win, you're elated. And when you beat Jack Leggett and Clemson Tigers at a South Carolina regional and you beat them twice, yeah, I'm going to have fun at the press conference. Absolutely. That was a blast. And but anyway, on the Coastal, they keep rolling right along. You got to give it to Coach Snow. You know, he's trying to replace a legend there, and I think he's taken some of Coach Gilmore's info for these non-conference schedule that Coastal seemed to always do. Gary Gilmore knew how to utilize the RPI to their advantage, and he had a formula on who he played. And once again, they're 12-4, but their RPI is 15 in the country. Okay, and it's that way because they know who to play on the non-conference. They're really good at it, and you have to win too. They're 12-4, but they got Wake, another good team coming in tomorrow, and then they play Georgia Southern for 3, which is another pretty good team. Okay, so you know they're doing the right thing by playing a great non-conference schedule, and they may be a team that doesn't have to win their tournament to get in the NCAA regionals. College of Charleston is still hanging in there at 9-5. But their RPI is 162 because the strength of schedule has not been there. And it's not going to get any better this week. They're playing Wofford, who's very good, but their RPI, I believe, is 155. And then Dartmouth is coming in. Their RPI is 199. They're 0-6. So there's not going to be a whole lot of RPI help for the College of Charleston. PC is 8-9, but their RPI is about 130, or maybe it's 150. Wofford's 12-4, but the RPI is 155. Charleston Southern has a good record, 11-3, but 157 in the RPI. South Carolina Upstate, they are 9-6, I believe. Good program, but they're 166 in the RPI. And the Citadel is always tough. They're a little over 500 at 9-7, but their RPI is already 208. So some of these teams, 5 or 6 of the in-state teams, you know, their RPIs it's only the 4th week, and their RPIs are really high. It's going to take a 20-0 run for some of them to get the RPI in the top 40. If they don't do that, then they're looking at having to win. And that's the problem with being a mid-major. It's very difficult to get a good RPI. And the ones that have figured that out, really, for a mid-major, a so-called mid-major, is Coastal Carolina. They really are good with that. Gary Gilmore, he tried to teach me that, and I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. But honestly, he was the guru in regards to RPIs. I have a few shout-outs, and you can ask me a few questions if you want.
Okay.
The tidbits or shout-out, whatever you want to call it. You got to shout out Clemson 13 in a row. I mean, that's pretty cool. Drew Horn, Middle Tennessee State. I'll give the Blue Raiders a little plug here. Drew Horn threw a no-hitter, right-handed pitcher. Shout-out Tennessee and Florida State are the only 2 unbeaten teams in the country. And Tennessee is rolling, and Florida State is rolling, and they have 2 of the best coaches in the country. So I'm not surprised at all that Tennessee and Florida State are still unbeaten. Now, the schedules haven't been that difficult, but they're still undefeated. And they're the only 2 left out of over 300 teams that are undefeated. Rylan Zaborowski, Georgia, SEC Co-Player of the Year, or of the Week. 6 home runs and 18 RBIs in 4 games. The guy only had 7 hits. He was 7 for 16, which is great, but 6 of them were home runs. that guy is amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a kid from Arkansas. I'm not going to get the name right. Wahiwa Aloy. I don't know what nationality he is, but evidently he rakes because he got 12 hits in 5 games, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs. But could you imagine 12 hits for the week? Kid from Arkansas, so him and the kid from Georgia were co-SEC hitters of the week.
Oof.
But 12 hits in 5 games, that's a career for some people.
Absolutely.
And then you got the SEC pitcher of the week. Here's a lefty, once again, from Tennessee. They just do a great job of recruiting, whether it's high school or transfers or grad transfers or NIL guys that they get off the transfer portal. This Liam Doyle transferred in this year, threw a no-hitter for 5 2/3, 13 Ks, and I'm watching him on TV, and he's throwing 97 to 99 from the left side, and you're wondering, is anyone going to hit this guy? And they didn't. 5 2/3, 13 Ks, no hits, a lefty. And he might have hit 100. I don't know,
well,
but that's pretty darn good.
You're burning the ears of fans in our state because he transferred from Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina, yep.
Yeah, well,
he smoked them down at Coastal.
Yeah, well, the problem I have with that is, the kids. It's very difficult to be loyal when there's money involved.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, Coastal has a great program, but Tennessee's chances just won a national title. They probably gave him a ton of NIL money, and maybe he always wanted to go to Tennessee. I don't know. It's hard to blame the kids that not want to go to Tennessee. They're in the top 3 or 4 teams in the country. Last year they were the number 1 team in the country. That's a tough deal, and that's part of this NIL stuff. There's no more loyalty and there's no more team spirit for me. It's like, just give me the money, which, money makes the world go around. They also say it's the love of money is the root of all evil.
All evil.
Remember that.
It's evil.
Well, yeah, I'd like to have a little evil right now. I need a little cash still, okay? But that's all I got right now. I was fishing all day.
Okay.
I got a chance to go with Robert Hudson, who's a pro fisherman today. We went out on the river here in town, and I actually, I think I caught 3 bass, and he caught 4. So maybe I have a future in pro bass fishing. I don't really know how to drive them boats very well, and especially back them into the river.
Yeah.
Other than that, we had a blast. I probably fished for 7 hours today. Had to rush home to be with the guru Phil Kornblut.
Well, I hope we. It's good that you left some fish. That brings me to mention this. We had a tournament at Lake Murray, the MLF Bass Pro Tour Power Stop Break.
Did you say MILF?
No, MLF. Left out the I.
Oh. Okay.
Dirty mind. MLF Bass Pro Tour Power Stop Break Stage 3 presented by Strike King at Lake Murray. So I want to mention that Drew Gill of Mount Carmel, Illinois, he won with 19 bass, weighed in at this is what you need to do. He caught 19 counting bass, 58.2 pounds, and he won $150,000.
Was that 2 or 3 days? What was that?
3 days, I believe. 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Jacob Wheeler finished second out of Harrison, Tennessee, 20 bass, 55 pounds, 15 ounces. He won $45,000. And then from Landrum, Marshall Robinson, he caught 11 bass at 37 pounds, 10 ounces, and he won $35,000.
Wow, there's a big drop-off between first and third, but he still got a lot of money.
Yeah.
And anytime you win tournaments like that, bass fishing, I mean, you got to be really, really good. And you got to be lucky sometimes. You got to have 2 or 3 really good days in a row. Some guys will fish great one day, and then they can't get nothing the next day. But, yeah, that's exciting. And, I mean, you got that great lake out there, Lake Murray. I mean, they have all kind of tournaments out there, and it's just a great place to fish.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful homes out there. One day, I'm hoping Storm Tillman could move out to Lake Murray.
You could.
If there's anyone that wants to give me the money to buy a house
You could buy Will Muschamp's old house out there. It's still there.
Yeah, well, someone needs to give me the money first, Phil.
I think it's about $15 million. We got to run. Great as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, guys. Have a blast. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Coach Jim Toman. Just a bit outside. Thank you, Bergie.
Yes, sir.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow from Nashville.